Am I the a-hole for selling my home that I was allowing my daughter to stay in for free, even though she did some upgrades to it? I inherited a home years ago from my mother. It was overall outdated, but in good condition. It is 5 hours away from where I live. My daughter, 26, and her husband fell on hard times, and I allowed her to move in about 2 years ago for free. It is near the city they work at. I paid for everything and was letting them use it to get back on their feet. I informed them they can make changes to the home, just not to take out walls or any huge stuff. The last time I was at the home was about a year ago, and it just looked like they painted. The house is causing issues for my finances now, and I have had multiple people reach out to me to sell. I also want to sell it since I am tired of seeing the home. It just reminds me of my mom and that she is gone. So being a landlord isn't good for my mental health. So I decided to sell. I informed my daughter that they have 6 months to find a new place. This started an argument. She apparently put in a lot of upgrades, such as redoing the stairs, kitchen, and are in the middle of the bathroom. That I am screwing them over and that now the house is worth more. She called me a jerk for this, and I reminded them I gave them 2 years of free housing. I am on the fence and want more opinions.
Info: how much dollars worth of upgrades did they put into the house? And how does that compare to the money they saved on rent over the years? In my opinion, it's unfortunate y'all haven't come to a fair compromise or legal arrangement in advance of this situation happening, because this should be a mutually beneficial situation to you both instead of turning into a fight.
I don't know what they spent. I do know how much I saved them. Rent in that area is around $2,000 and ad utilities is about $400. So $2,400 each month. So $2,400 multiplied by 24 months equals $57,600. I highly doubt they put that much into the home.
Info: did you have a conversation with your daughter before telling them they had 6 months to move out? Even if she was just a tenant and not your daughter, the polite thing to do is have the conversation before issuing the eviction notice. There's obviously a disconnect between the two of you in terms of upgrades to the house, but regardless, you're going to benefit from the work they've put in. There should be some form of compensation to them.
I've mentioned before that I want to get rid of the home. I wasn't hiding the fact that I do not like owning it. I also was very clear that this was to help them out and not a permanent thing.
I think a lot of it is going to come down to how the two of you communicated, you and your daughter. It's odd that she would do so much work on a house if she knew the plan was to sell. But it's also a bit odd to not offer your daughter first refusal on the house, which would save you both money in selling fees, etc.
I truly don't understand why she did that. I made it clear to not make big changes. She was clearly hiding this from me since it was never mentioned she was doing upgrades. She can't afford it, I know that, and it seems mean to give her first refusal when she can't buy it.
OP, I get your point. You didn't ask or want those changes and save them over $50K of rent. I really do understand your point of view. It's not what I would do, but I get it. But looking at your comments, why even bother asking if you're the a-hole since you can't even consider different points of view?
At first sight, I would say OP just sell, but I agree with this comment. OP sees things in black and white and can't seem to find any middle ground, maybe because it's hard work to do so. End of the day, if that was my daughter, I would make sure she at least feels heard and not say a blank no to any suggestion. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should or there is no other way.
The house is 5 hours away. How is seeing it bad for your mental health? Why didn't you just ask your daughter to start paying rent to cover whatever it's costing you financially? If they're the ones doing the upgrades and you didn't have to worry about late rent since you didn't charge them any, how is being a landlord bad for your mental health? Seems you like the upgrades and just want to sell to make a quick buck. Be prepared to never see your daughter or future grandkids ever again. Hope it's worth it. You are the a-hole.
Family first. All of you need to get together and talk about how you can come to a fair resolution. Not having your daughter in your life will be worse on your mental health than not having your mother's house or the money.
Am I the a-hole for leaving my ex to sit and take care of his child and taking a business class upgrade to myself? I, 30 female, have been dating Matt, 33 male, for about a year. Matt has a kid, Alex, from his first relationship. The kid is under 2-year-old. Every now and then, I used to look after Alex when Matt was at work. We don't live together, but they stay at mine every now and then. We decided to go on holiday for 10 days at the start of May, and due to some family drama, Alex had to go with us. The flights were over 8 hours long, and I have booked the tickets for all of us. During the flight and the holiday, I have spent nearly all my time was spent looking after Alex while Matt had the time of his life. Some things came to my attention. He was still seeing his ex, which resulted in us breaking up at the end of our stay. On the flight back, we were all sitting together, and a flight attendant approached us and asked my ex if he wanted an upgrade to the business class. Before he could say anything, I have mentioned it was me who bought the tickets and used my own account to pay for them, so an upgrade should go to me. The flight attendant was trying to argue at first as she assumed Alex was my child, but I told her that's not the case and ended up having an upgrade so I can relax after spending all this time looking after Alex. After the flight, Matt, a few other passengers who assumed I am the mom, as well as some family members and friends called me an a-hole for not giving the upgrade to Matt. Even after I have mentioned, the flight attendant didn't say anything about Alex being allowed to join Matt.
Not the a-hole. Damn OP, that sucks. Paying for a flight in a breakup, taking care of a child on your vacation. You by no means are the a-hole. Hell, the audacity of the ex is unbelievable. It just pisses me off so much that I can't even begin to imagine your frustration. Honestly, I would say move on, but you seem to already be doing that, so I got nothing else to say. Oh, and by the way, the real a-hole is the ex.
Agreed. This whole situation sounds like a nightmare. Having to deal with a breakup, pay for a flight, and take care of a child during your own vacation? The audacity is unreal. OP deserves so much better.
Wait, why would it be okay for the father to ditch their child to be upgraded to business, and not okay for mother to do the same? Even if this isn't the case, but the other passengers seem to think so. This is some sexist shit. Not the a-hole. Dump him. He doesn't seem to appreciate you at all.
Not the a-hole. I bet it was probably nice to put some space between you and your brand new ex with such a long flight, too. What was he going to do? Take the upgrade and leave his young kid with the woman who he just broke up with? There's no world in which that makes any kind of sense.
Not the a-hole. Who gives a shit what strangers on the plane think of you? He doesn't deserve your upgrade.
Am I the a-hole for telling my sister-in-law that taking care of her kid is her job and she shouldn't expect others to do it for her? I have 2 kids, female 3, male 1. I am also a pharmacist, and I like to spend my free time learning to play basketball, learn to play the violin, and learn new languages. So you see, I'm pretty busy a day. My in-laws have been so supportive. My mother-in-law is an angel. She told me that it makes her very happy to see me improve myself, and she volunteered to babysit for us. She babysits whenever we ask and never asks for money because, according to her, she doesn't want to get paid for spending time with her grandkids. The problem is that my brother-in-law's wife, I'm not sure what it's called in English, so I will call her sister-in-law, who is a stay-at-home mom, thinks she is entitled to the same thing. Don't get me wrong, my mother-in-law babysits for her too, but she will do it occasionally, not every day. She only has one 4-year-old son and she doesn't work, and she is not interested in learning anything yet. She thinks mother-in-law should babysit for her every day so that she can relax. Yesterday, she snapped at mother-in-law and told her she either has to babysit for both of us or for none of us. I told her that taking care of her kid is her job and she shouldn't expect others to do it for her. She called me an a-hole and said it's none of my business.
Your sister-in-law being a stay-at-home mom doesn't mean that her day is less busy than yours, or stress-free for that matter. Nor is her not taking classes or having hobbies relevant. You seem very condescending in your opinions about sister-in-law. and she comes off as disrespectful and entitled. But it could be that every time she's asked for help, it's denied because mother-in-law, or is this her mother, is constantly babysitting for you.
Everyone sucks here.
Oof, I think everyone sucks here. Your mother-in-law babysits for you whenever you ask while you spend time on your hobbies, you learning to play violin, basketball, etc. Is that not a way for you to relax? Sister-in-law is obviously the a-hole for acting so entitled, but you are the a-hole for telling your sister-in-law that she cannot expect others to help out with her kids, while you seem to do the same, and mother-in-law is just an angel that maybe should say no every now and then, as this way it may come across as if she is playing favorites.
This judgment should be you are the a-hole. The only basis for judging sister-in-law to be an a-hole is her alleged entitled attitude. We only have OP's word for that, and given how oblivious she is to her own sense of entitlement and her own hypocrisy, I don't consider her a reliable narrator.
You are the a-hole, so relaxing time is only deserved by parents who work outside the house, huh? One could say you're away from your kids so much that perhaps you're the one who doesn't need more time away from them so you can improve yourself by learning languages, violin, and sports. When are you taking care of your kids? Isn't that your job too? You are super condescending and absolutely look down on this woman. I feel like you're an unreliable narrator here, and the hole she asked mother-in-law to babysit every day is not as severe as you say. Maybe she needs a few hours of a break. Ever think about that? You have your job, work colleagues, your hobbies, things to do as a full-grown adult that enrich you. She has her house and her kid 24/7. And you have the balls to turn around and tell her she's not doing her job well enough. I'm glad you're not my sister-in-law.
What do you think of these stories? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel to see more interesting videos.